Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video. I'm back in Charlotte, back in the 95-degree heat and the overpriced real estate and the road rage, and maybe it's not so great after all. And Nashville isn't exactly what I'd call a cure for the heat. Back for my trip to Nashville to the Lane Motor Museum, which was absolutely amazing. And if you haven't seen my videos on that trip, go and check those out. They're pretty good, I think. And I really scoured that museum from top to bottom, and I honestly think I've at least gotten photographs of almost every car in there, and there's something like 600 cars. So that was an amazing trip. By all means, go watch those. Anyway, when I got back, I went down and checked my mail, and I found this box sitting there, and I realized it's been a little while since I've done a book review video. And the last book review video that I did may have been an Automobile Quarterly, where I did a 30th anniversary issue. I may have mentioned at some point during that video that I knew the first issue was out there, and I thought it might have been between $7 and $10. And right after making it, of course, I went out on the internet. And as it turns out, I was able to get not just the first issue. No, I was able to get more than that. So I thought what I would do would be to take a look inside this box and find out what books are in here and show them to you. Should be exciting because I haven't yet opened this. And okay, what do we have? Thank you for your order. This is from, it's an eBay order. Okay. And I think, ooh, yes. Okay. These are the Automobile Quarterlies. Here they are. And what I decided to do was go one step further and not just buy the first issue, but to buy the entire first season, which is from 1962 when the magazine was launched. And I got each issue for the price of exactly $10 a piece. I think in total the eBay auction was $40. And that looks like it got recently scratched, possibly in shipment. I hope I didn't do that. Oh, it's the back, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, they do smell a bit musty. It doesn't really matter. You just, it's a book. It's not like you're gonna sniff it every time you take it out, right? And so that's what we have here, folks. We have the first, that's not upside down, is it? It is. We have the first issue of Automobile Quarterly magazine from 1962, all 4 issues. So, and which one's on top? This is volume number 4. Well, this is the last one. And where's the first one? I did buy these knowing that they weren't going to be in exactly perfect condition, just because I felt like, it's a classic book, and I don't need it to be in mint condition. Here it is. Issue Volume 1, Number 1, the first Automobile Quarterly magazine published at some point in 1962. It's from 1962, and that's what the cover looks like. I'll get my head out of the way. And here's the back cover. Or is it the front? It looks the same. Okay. Well, the cover of the first issue is actually very unique. And the pictures that are on here, I'm looking at this closely right now, those are not stickers. That's not stuck on. That's actually this canvas cover. They printed that picture across on the canvas. I'm not surprised that they only did that one time, because that must have been incredibly expensive. So it's the same exact dimensions as AQ always is. This side is a little bit of a navy blue color, and the pictures are in very pretty, kind of high contrast or maybe high saturation color film. It does not have anything written on the cover. It doesn't say Automobile Quarterly on here. So this is really kind of a unique one. It just has it on the spine. And the spine, Automobile Quarterly, Volume 1, Number 1, 1962, that says. That's it right there. So that's the first issue. Excellent. Second issue, this is volume 2. Yep, volume 2. Probably hard to read. And it's changed a little bit. They put the title along the side, kind of, see? Like this. And a really pretty picture of what looks like a cross-country race. This is a little bit curved, it feels like. And the back is exactly the same. And it is the canvas cover all the way across. So that's not a sticker on there. Blue inside. Just looking at the table of contents. Studebaker's president, Sherwood H. Egbert, tells how he conceived America's newest car, page 192. And it's a picture of the Avanti. So the Avanti was introduced in 1962. I guess it's the New York to Paris race. That's what that is on the front cover, which I wonder if that's the Thomas Flyer, that car. That's, if you look at old automotive books, and I think even as a kid, like the Thomas Flyer is one of the first cars you ever learn about in automotive history. So I hope that's what that is, but we'll look at that one. And then we have volume 1, number 3, which looks like a Packard grill on the front. There it is. I'm going to get my head out of the way. And I love this one. This is actually my favorite, kind of, except for the first one, maybe. The Alfa Romeo kind of grill. Remember, this is 1962. So, obviously the future has not happened yet. New cars in 1962 that they're going to talk about are going to be things that are like antiques now. Yeah, here's a look at some Pininfarina stuff inside the front cover of the table of contents. That's what it looks like. Yeah, really classic magazine. I'm very excited to have these. So we should take a closer look at them. The video will be like an hour long if I try to look at all 4 of these. So I guess I'll start with the first one. That seems to make the most sense because I'm really curious. This magazine was founded by L. Scott Bailey, who has passed away, and he maybe 2012 or so. It was a while ago, but I'm just genuinely curious about what he was thinking. Like, what was his idea? Is this magazine really this is kind of what he thought of. It was his idea, and he was the chief editor of this for most of its existence until like maybe the late 80s or even the 90s. And so it's a very unique thing, but it's also a very important book in the automotive history community. So I couldn't miss getting this. And I know a lot of people like these. There is kind of a strong musty smell, I have to say. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with that purchase. Let's take a closer look and find out what's inside these. Automobile Quarterly, Volume 1, Number 1. Let's take a look inside this. Oh. There has been no periodical to truly reflect the grandeurs, the majesty, the adventure that is the automobile, and that is the mission statement. It's not all of it, but just to give you the idea, here's the contents of the very first issue from spring 1962. They do the Credo dedication, Hamlet in a helmet, the fabulous Ferrari, there's the Lincoln Continental, Duesenberg, 1750 Alpha and Giulietta, Land Cruiser. So the kind of cars that they're looking at, and remember, this is the mid-20th century. So 50 years prior to this time is before World War I. So they're looking back on a time that for them was much more recent. The cars of the day, the classics, were what we would now call antiques and really early automobile and things like that. So this book is really kind of a love letter to the invention of the automobile and car culture itself. If nothing else, here's their dedication. The fabulous Ferrari, styled by Pininfarina, Master of Motor Carrozzeria, which means like coach building. That's the, I think, Italian word for coach built. These are all brand new cars. I mean, just imagine living in a time where that's your brand new cars of the day. Boy, really, we've really come far, haven't we? The photography, even though black and white, is really pretty, and the way that they've got this all laid out here. This was really quite an undertaking, this magazine. And yeah, already in its very first issue, Automobile Quarterly is setting itself apart from everything else in the automotive hobby for the quality of their photography, including the backgrounds. I mean, just everything here that you see, not just the car, but how the car fits with the backdrop, and this one as well. I just really love that. That's really amazing stuff. Now, I don't know a lot about Ferrari, so I couldn't tell you which these are. I mean, I'm thinking 350 GT, a couple of these models like this one, but I don't really know, so I'd have to read this. And it's saying here in the article, they're $17,000 cars. Yeah, it's now a $17,000 car is like a cheap hatchback, like really cheap. And this is another tradition that AQ would have, is the illustration style, these drawings, which are done by one of the people that's listed in the front. And I've forgotten who, but I've seen these in several other issues that I have. Lincoln Continental. Yeah, that's really amazing. And this is the 1961 or 62. It's basically a brand new car at this time. History on the Lincoln Continental. I'm kind of going backwards. Yeah. And then we have the article on Duesenberg. Let's see what they have in store for us. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is just very beautiful. Again, like what I was saying with the photography, just the quality of the background and how it makes like this really beautiful scene with the vegetation and everything. It's not just the car, it's like placing the car in a background. I honestly think that's why this is possibly my favorite automotive publication ever, is because of that. I love the picture and everything it has to say, not just the car that's in it. And there's also a theme of color. You can see how you have this kind of green background, and the car is probably about a cream color, but it reflects a little bit of the green, giving it a slightly almost yellowish tint. And then this one is more of a magenta color, which is complemented by the brown barn here, and then the reds and tans, kind of the warm colors of all the vegetation. I mean, I notice those kind of things. I'm a photographer, but I wouldn't call myself a professional. Like, I don't think I could do anything like this. Not exactly like I could, but I don't think I could necessarily think of this shot. That's kind of the point. Here's another one. That's just amazing. You don't even need to want the car. You just wanted to ride in it or just be there. Witness history. So yeah, one of the finest American cars ever made. This is the 1933, on this picture, the 1933 Double J Roadster. Duesenberg. And what else do they have? Let's see here. Some artwork. Hispano Suiza. Bentley Sport Touring. Pierce Silver Arrow, which probably one of my favorite streamlined cars ever. I really wish they had made that in production so that we could have, had something to answer Voisin. In the background has the Brooklyn Bridge. And the Pierce Arrow was actually built in Buffalo, New York, which is kind of where I'm from. It was our local car. I mean, back when I was a little kid, my grandfather, my dad's dad, knew Pierce Arrows and would talk about them. And because it was a local product, and it was still, because this was the 80s, So it was still sort of remembered. There were still some people who knew what they were because they had been around 50 years earlier. Kind of almost getting to be forgotten now. Some more, just this artwork, the way it goes over, that's just really beautiful design. The design of this, that's what it is. It's the design. 1750 Alpha. Okay, I want to see what this is. Ooh. Really amazing photo montage there. More photography. Fiat Racer. Ephemera Curiosa. Advertisements. So yeah, that's a pretty amazing book right there. Yeah, I got this for just $10. It's not perfect. It's a little bit musty, but look at the condition of the pages. They're pretty good. There's really nothing wrong with this. So that's really amazing. Let's take a look at another one. Take a look at the issue that has the Alpha on the cover. I'm really curious what's inside this one. Let's see. I'm being careful by putting something underneath the cover so that I don't mess up the binding. And this one has like a yellow construction paper. Here's a table of contents. You can get that closer to the camera. All of it together, which is like a story. It's going to be like a short story and an article on front-wheel drive. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. Pininfarina, Aston Martin, early Renaults, and Roy Knockholds, one of the drivers. Pretty cool stuff. The short stories that they do, I have one in the first one of these I got as a kid had an article about the closer of a Studebaker dealership. And I remember reading it as a youngster. And that's what this is going to be. It's going to be a story, like a short story. May or may not be fiction, or it's based on, actual events. And it's just a couple of pages, but just a really neat, like their idea of car culture. It's very sentimental, and that's something that appeals to me. And if it appeals to you, I guess this book is for you. Renault, Frédéric, Marcel, and Louis Renault. Early Renaults. Look at that. That's amazing. Oh, it's Didion quadricycle, a prototype. The story of Renault. They started out, they were really kind of high-end luxury cars. And then after World War II, I think is what changed everything. Check this out. Yeah, 1962, 63. This is going to be for 63. The new R4. Original photography of the 1963 R4 just is being introduced. The factory scene here. And I like how the way this picture mirrors the way they do the cover. That's kind of neat. The production line. And you see they're all the same color because this is like a discount car, although this one's a bit different. It doesn't have the third light on the window. See how these all do and this one doesn't? So I wonder what's different about that. Well, if you're an R4 fan, let me know. Maybe that's like a utility version. No. Some more really amazing. Like, I've never seen these photos anywhere. Oh, the Caravelle. There's been a couple of times I've considered buying a Caravelle. You can get a Caravelle in the US reasonably cheaply. I mean, less than 10 grand if you are, clever with where you look. And I have found them for less than 10 grand, but not in good enough condition. I can't really, I don't have a garage, so I can't get a parts car. I can't get something that needs to be fully restored. I wouldn't be able to handle it. But, check that out. 4CV prototype. Ooh, I love that. I mean, just the picture I love. I actually think that's a hideous car, but... yeah, really, you'd never find anything like this from today in the internet world. Nothing like this. Pininfarina. That's what the cover is telling us about. I just love that. That's a work of art. It's too bad there's a bit of a crease in the page here. That's okay, though. It's an old book. I have seen this before.
Is it a Cistalia? Yeah, it is a Cistalia. Can't believe I remembered that. Pininfarina before the war. 2300 prototype. Look at the way that they are doing the convertible by having the front of it lift. That's interesting. Wow. Well, that's quite a statement right there. Look at all the traditional architecture, and then this radical car with the glass roof and everything. Well, that's modernism for you. And oh, Corvair. Oh my goodness. Boy, imagine if they had made the Corvair look like that. Which now they got pretty close to that. I mean, the Corvair is a nice looking car, don't get me wrong, but it is a little bit, in my opinion, the rear part of it especially is a bit stretched. I know they had room for the engine, but the proportions of this are just far superior. And then a Ferrari Super America. Yeah, so really incredible stuff here in Automobile Quarterly. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of this. Throw a like on there if you would. Consider subscribing to the channel. I do things like this once in a while. I don't do as many of these book reviews as I used to. But hey, if you want to see more, let me know and I'll do more. But that's what this is all about. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you'll join me for more of these in the future. And if you did, I'll see you again soon. Be well and take care.